Differentiability, the words and the differences we discussed in the last class. Basically, here in this chapter, we are going to study the change of one variable with respect to the other. Specifically, change in y with respect to change in x. Okay. For suppose if we have a function or relation between x and y, this is y is equals to f of x. This x is independent variable, y is dependent variable. Here we will study the change in y with respect to change in x, and related to change in x we denote the change in x as delta x, and related to y, change in y we represent by delta y, and rate of change in y with respect to x is simply nothing but delta y by delta x, because rate of change in y with respect to x is change in y for unit change in x. All this we discussed in the last class, and now as a continuation of that, I mentioned you in the last class itself that we are going to discuss three definitions for the derivative of y with respect to x. Three definitions, right? And among those, the first one now we are discussing. Okay, definition 1, derivative of y with respect to x. This definition 1 is saying that instantaneous rate of change. What? Instantaneous rate of change. See, already I mentioned you, if delta x is change in x, delta y is change in y, delta y by delta x is rate of change in y with respect to x. This is delta y by delta x, and we call it as rate of change in y. Now, instantaneous rate of change. Rate of change is different from instantaneous rate of change. Instantaneous rate of change is rate of change in y for very small change in x. If there is a minute change in x corresponding to that change, for sure there exists certain change in y. We are going to study that change. Okay. So this is usually denoted by, this is rate of change, and we are going to study this value as this change in x is very small. As this change in x is very small. What is change in x? Delta x. So since delta x, to make delta x as very small, I need to use the word limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x. At the end, instantaneous rate of change is rate of change in y. What is that rate of change in y? Delta y. For very small change in x, change in x is simply delta x. And for small change in x we need, so you just apply limit delta x tends to 0 on this rate of change. So this limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x, okay, is denoted by dy by dx. Okay, dy by dx is what? Instantaneous rate of change in y with respect to x, or sometimes we will use y dash, or sometimes we will use f dash of x. If that y is f of x, we use these notations, f dash of x or y dash or dy by dx is just a denotation for this limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x, and is called as what? And is called as derivative of y with respect to x, and is called as derivative of y with respect to x. And according to this definition 1, dy by dx, derivative of y with respect to x, is simply what? Rate of change in y for very small change in x. Okay, and yeah, for suppose you just consider it as bit a, then coming to bit b. For suppose what we need to consider, x is changing from x1 to x2, right, and y is changing from y1 to y2. Okay, right. X is changing from x1 to x2, y is changing from y1 to y2, and from this one thing is clear that delta x is equals to x2 minus x1, and from this one thing is clear that delta y is equals to y2 minus y1. Now what to say about dy by dx? If we have a relation between this y and x, then I need to calculate derivative of y with respect to x, which is simply nothing but limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x. This is the definition. And now, what is this delta x? This delta x is x2 minus x1, right? So we will rewrite it like this. So this is equals to limit x2 minus x1 is tending to 0 such that the delta y is y2 minus y1, whereas this delta x is x2 minus x1. And if you try to rewrite, just have a look. This x2 minus x1 is tending to 0. What it means? x2 minus x1 tending to 0 is simply nothing but limit x2 tends to x1, y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 is dy by dx. So you just have a look. According to this definition, dy by dx is the instantaneous rate of change in y with respect to x. Have a look. And see, if y is equals to f of x is the function, if y is equals to f of x is the function which is connecting both dependent variable and independent variable, then f dash of x or dy by dx, f dash of x or dy by dx is simply nothing but what? Limit x2 tends to x1 delta y by delta x. As I mentioned you, here it is simply nothing but y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Okay. And what is this y2 and what is this y1? See, y1 is a value of the function at x1, y2 is value of the function at x2. We have this function y is equals to f of x. If you replace this x with x1, you will get y1. If you replace this x with x2, you will get y2. That x1, x2, see y1, y2 are the corresponding functional values for x1, x2. So in the next step, we may write it like this. Limit x2 tends to x1, f of x2 minus f of x1 divided by x2 minus x1. You just observe it, okay? Limit x2 tends to x1, f of x2 minus f of x1 by x2 minus x1. Okay, if x1 and x2 are two different points, right? Just have a look, and then I will rewrite it in such a way. Bit d. For suppose in this discussion we are considering that x is changing from x1 to x2. Now for suppose if you consider x is changing from, okay, some point A to A plus delta x. X is changing from point A to A plus delta x. Okay. Then you need to consider that x1 as A, x2 as A plus delta x, right? So you just consider that x1 is equals to A and x2 as A plus delta x. Then what to say about change in x, delta x or something like, okay, delta x is very clear, which is x2 minus x1. Is it right? Why? Because x2 is A plus delta x minus x1 is A. If you cancel out that A, you will get the delta x, right? So now this dy by dx can be rewritten as, dy by dx can be rewritten as limit x2 tends to x1, means x2 minus x1 tends to 0. In turn represents that delta x tends to 0, f of x2. What is x2? Our x2 is here A plus delta x minus f of x1. Here in particularly our x1 is f of A divided by x2 minus x1, which is simply delta x. Limit delta x tends to 0, f of A plus delta x minus f of A by delta x, and this delta x is just a change in x. A is changing to A plus delta x. If you consider that small change in x as some h, we may also write that dy by dx is equals to limit h tends to 0, f of A plus h minus f of A divided by h. If you consider the change in x is very small and that small change in x is simply h. If it is h, then it is also correct. Instead of writing the delta x, you may go with this particular format. Is it right? Have a look. So E, finally dy by dx. Generally dy by dx is what? Derivative of y with respect to x, and that dy by dx at x is equals to a. Derivative of y with respect to x at x is equals to a is denoted by, what is the denotation first? Dy by dx at x is equals to a or f dash of a. We will denote in such a way. And what it is? And we define it as instantaneous rate of change in y is equals to f of x and x is equals to a. So this dy by dx x is equals to a is nothing but change, instantaneous rate of change at the moment x is equals to a, and it is just limit h tends to 0 f of a plus h minus f of a by h, because we are changing x value from a to a plus h. Since we are changing x value from a to a plus h, the functional values are f of a plus h and f of a, its difference divided by the difference of x coordinates as h is tending to 0. Okay, so this instantaneous rate of change is different from point to point, as we discussed at the end of yesterday's class. Okay, rate of change in y with respect to x is delta y by delta x, and it is just like a run rate of the cricket. And that instantaneous rate of change, that rate of change is also not constant, it is also changing from point to point. Run rate is also changing from ball to ball, is it right? And that's why rate of change in y with respect to x also changes, right? So depending on that change, at a particular point A, we are going to observe the change at a particular point A, and in this very small region of change in x coordinate, we are going to observe the change in y coordinate, and that is usually denoted in such a way, defined in this way, and it is calculated using this limit h tends to 0 f of a plus h minus f of a divided by h. That's it. Just have a look. Definition 2 I am going to discuss. For example, if you have a curve, see, having curve is simply nothing but having the function y is equals to f of x. For every function we have its graph, and it is usually a curve. And on the curve you just mark a point P somewhere and a point Q another. Okay, just like this. See, if you join this P and Q, what you will get? If you join this P and Q, for sure you will get a chord of the curve, right? Or you may say this is secant of the curve. Line passing through any 2 points of the curve is considered as secant. This is secant of the curve. Now what I do is, if I move this point Q towards P, this is point P, right? And this is Q. For suppose if this is Q, what will happen? If this is Q, again you will get a chord like, okay, passing through these 2 points in such a way, and you just move that Q again nearer to P, some more nearer to P. In such a way you just move this point Q towards P. After a certain stage, that Q is almost nearer to P, or it may be equals to P. If Q is almost approaching to P, then at that particular point the chord is simply becomes like a tangent. It just touches the curve, it won't intersect the curve. That's what I am saying. See, actually this is P and this is Q. This is the secant PQ. For suppose if this Q is approaching to P, if this Q is approaching to P, then this secant is going to become a tangent. Okay, not only in this direction, also happens in this direction also. This is secant or Q. You just move this point R towards P. As you are moving R nearer to P, the secant is going to become a tangent. Is it right? So tangent is simply nothing but limiting position of a secant. Already I think you know this particular sentence, okay? Or otherwise you need to generalize it at this position. What I am going to tell you, yeah, tangent is always tangent of a curve. Tangent of a curve is always is equals to limiting position of secant. Tangent tangent of curve is simply limiting position of secant. With that particular idea, if you move a second point Q nearer and nearer and nearer to P, then the chord will become, the secant will become as a tangent for the curve. Okay, so how to write this, how to make a mathematical form for this, as we discussed, slope of tangent is what? Now I need to discuss about slope of tangent. Okay, slope of tangent. Slope of tangent is equals to what? So slope of tangent at P, you may say, slope of tangent at P, at this point P, I need to know about the slope of tangent. Okay, and this tangent is simply nothing but limiting position of the secant, either the limiting position of secant PQ or the limiting position of secant PR. Okay, by this particular rule, tangent is equals to limiting position of secant. Slope of tangent at P for the curve is simply nothing but limiting position of PQ or PR. This PQ is one secant, either its limiting position, or this PR is another secant, either its limiting position. That is equals to, okay, that is equals to slope of PQ or slope of PR. Slope of PQ or slope of PR as Q comma R tending to P. Okay, if you are moving this Q nearer and nearer and nearer to P, the secant will become like a tangent. If you move this R nearer and nearer and nearer to P, then this secant PR will become a tangent. So that slope of tangent is simply slope of PQ or slope of PR as Q and Q comma R is approaching to R. So PQ. So what you say about slope of PQ? If you have a point A and point Q, then what you say about its slope? Slope is simply, we know from coordinate geometry, slope of a line is what? Y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. And that's why we need coordinates of this point P. So introduce the situation in the coordinate plane. For suppose if at this particular point P, the x value is A, then this point is A comma f of A. Right? Very good. And what you say about this R? Okay? And what you say about this particular Q? Right? This point Q is just right side of A. So you may take this particular point as some A plus H and this point as some A minus H. And since its x value is A plus H, at Q the point is A plus H comma f of A plus H. And at R, A minus H is the x value. So at R, coordinates of the point are nothing but A minus H comma f of A minus H. On a curve, always a point is of the format x value comma functional value at that x. Okay. Now slope of PQ is equals to slope of PQ or slope of PR as Q comma R tends to P. Right. Right. Q is tending to P. As Q is tending to P, this A plus H is tending to A. As R is tending to P, this A minus H is tending to A. In both the cases, this is equals to slope of PQ. You just write that slope. Slope of PQ is what? Slope of PQ is for P comma Q y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. So here y2 minus y1 f of A plus H, f of A plus H minus f of A divided by x2 is A plus H, x1 is A by H, comma slope of PR. Slope of PR is again y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1, or in this way, anyway, no problem. Or f of A minus f of A minus H divided by H as H is tending to 0. As H is tending to 0, because Q approaches to P, A plus H approaches to A, and H will become 0. Either R approaching to P then also h is tending to 0. So as q comma r tending to p is simply nothing but as h is tending to 0, and slope of pq, slope of pr is just in this way. Just have a look. So derivative of y with respect to x is slope of tangent for the curve at the point. Slope of tangent for the curve at the point. As a part of discussion, we need to know something about slope of tangent. And slope of tangent, or it's specifically tangent. Tangent of the curve is limiting position of the secant. So here in particular, slope of tangent is nothing but the slope of secant. And the slope of secant PQ comma PR, their slopes are from general form of coordinate geometry, y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. At the end we have this. Have a look. So finally in definition 2, slope of tangent at P is simply nothing but slope of secant PQ as well as slope of secant PR. And slope of secant PQ as Q is tending to P is limit h tends to 0 f of a plus h minus f of a by h. And slope of secant PR is limit h tends to 0 f of a minus f of a minus h by h. Okay, and this is slope of secant from P calculated from right side. Okay, slope of tangent is calculation of the slope of secant from right side, and this is calculation of the slope of secant from left side. And as we discussed in the previous case, it is just simply instantaneous rate of change, okay, at particular point A, and it is mentioned as what? F dash of A or dy by dx at x is equals to A. Okay, we have two choices to calculate the slope of tangent, either from right side or from left side. You just choose any choice to calculate the slope of tangent at P. Okay, have a look. Definition 3. So mathematically what we need to conclude, okay, as a conclusion of the above two, mathematically what we will say, mathematically dy by dx or f is differentiable at x is equals to a, or the derivative of f at x is equals to a. Mathematically dy by dx is equals to d f of x by dx is equals to derivative of f or y with respect to x is equals to what? Is limit x tends to is equals to limit x tends to a f of x minus f of a divided by x minus a. Since mathematically limit x tends to a f of x minus f of a by f of x minus a, to calculate its limit value as x is tending to a, we need to discuss left limit and right limit. Limit x tends to a minus f of x minus f of a by x minus a is left limit, and limit x tends to a plus f of x minus f of a by x minus a. So mathematically, if you wish to calculate its limit value as x is tending to 0, x is tending to a, we need to think about left limit, and here in particular we will call it as LHD, left hand derivative, and this is RHD, which is right hand derivative. Simply to calculate a limit, we move with left limit as well with right limit. In the same way, to calculate the derivative, once we move with left hand derivative and once we move with the right hand derivative. Okay, and for suppose f is derivable at x is equals to a. If anybody asks you to conclude whether f is derivable at x is equals to a or not, so for that you need to memorize that if f is derivable at x is equals to a, if and only if limit x tends to a f of x minus f of a divided by x minus a exists. If it exists, then we conclude that f is derivable. Right? The definition 3, mathematical definition, is simply calculating this particular limit as x is tending to a. And as a part of calculation, once we go with left hand and once we go with right hand derivative. This is left hand derivative, and this is right hand derivative. Okay, limit x tends to a, f of x minus x minus a exists in the sense left hand derivative and right hand derivative exist. If these two exist, then that limit exists. If that limit exists, then we conclude that f is derivable at x is equals to a. So these are three different definitions for the dy by dx. Okay, so as per the situation we need to use, but as a part of calculating the values of derivatives, we just go with this particular definition. So the next class I will start my discussion with this particular one, and I will give you some examples, and we can extend it for further formulas and further problems. Okay, have a look.